How to create a random colour fill symmetry effect in Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop CC220, but you could use 219, etc. Now this is based on an earlier video, so please check the previous videos related to this. Because I'm going to use a selection. I'm just using a circular selection using the elliptical marquee tool, and I'm going to fill it with a brush. I'm going to apply a transformation to that selection. Key panels for this: actions and brush settings. Now the brush settings are going to be color dynamics. All are going to be set to the max, the hue, saturation, etc., all to the max. You can see I've created a load of actions with selections in them. So they all transformed like 90-90, 80-80, etc. via the select transform selection. And also there's a brush stroke, and the brush stroke uses a random color brush. And they've all been set up before, but like I said, there's a previous video showing the creation of that. And it just applies that. Now I'm going to apply it on a layer. I want it on a layer because I want to remove the background and I want to create a pattern. Go up to the layer menu and new layer. Click OK. And now you can run those selections. Now you can choose any of them. You don't have to keep clicking the same one. The play at the bottom, just click that. You can always go to another one, and then you can create sort of variety of different transformations on that. Now this works for a 1600 by 1600. If you're using a bigger document, it's not going to work. You'd have to set up your own transformations and selections for that. So if you've got a 5000 by 5000 document, or maybe a rectangular document, the same selection action will not work well, unless you create a bigger brush. Maybe create a 5000 by 5000 brush, and that will cover the area. That's the key thing. Because if you create a small brush, say 200 by 200, you'll end up with a line in it, which maybe is not what you want. So once you've created your selection and transformations, etc., there's brush settings there. Just to quickly show you the brush settings. You can see it's just a brush that fits exactly the size of the document, and all the color dynamics are all set to the max. Well, remove the selection. So go to select menu and remove. Just there. Deselect. And another key panel is layers. So you just go to window and layers. And what you want to do is remove the background. So just click on that and then just go to the bin there, the trash can, click OK. And so now you've got a transparent background. And what you can do, you can go to the edit menu and you can define that. So you can see it's a layer there. And you can also, of course, before you do the edit, you can define it's a pattern at this point, but you can also go and maybe add a drop shadow to it, up to you, via the layer menu and layer style. Click OK. Or maybe add a bevel as well. Perfectly reasonable. You could, of course, turn it into a smart object and distort it as well, up to you as well on that. So edit and define pattern. Click OK. Now go and create a fresh document. I'm going to go for a slightly bigger document than that. A rectangular document, I should say. Just to show you that you don't have to be working always with 1600 by 1600 documents. So edit and fill. And you could, of course, create a new layer at this point as well if you want to create it all on a layer. You don't have to. Set the pattern option for the contents and go down to the pattern you've just created. And then make certain the script is on. And you can use any of these scripts. There's a whole range from random fill. You can use that. Brick fill. I'm going to finish the whole tutorial with the symmetry one, but I'm just going to show you, you can create some interesting, colourful designs with like random fill. So you can just create that. And you can set the randomization to the max or not, depending on what you want. And you can change the scale. You can also change the minimum, max. And you can also change the density. I normally keep it at 10. The preview does not match the end result. That looks great preview. The end result doesn't look like that. It's a pity. It's a small chunk of that design, probably in there, the preview. Doesn't matter about the random, obviously rotation, because of course it's a circle. As you can see, the end result just not exactly matching the end there. And you can always run it once, twice, 3, 5, 10 times, up to you. And again, you can go and random fill, and you can then change maybe the scale. You could reduce them down. So you can see you get smaller items there. But again, the end result very rarely matches the end result. It's a very small part of the design. Get rid of that. Again, you can always apply it on a layer, and then you can remove the layer. If you're not happy with the result, just layers and delete. You can use maybe brick fill. Click OK. And then you can then change the spacing and the offset, and also the randomization of color, also the scale. So you can have them all on top of each other. And again, the preview does not match the end result. I think there's a few, like spiral seems to work well, symmetry works well with the end result, looks similar, but these, for some weird reason, never seem to match the end result. You can see. I mean, obviously it matches it in terms of the overlap, but you don't see the matching of the preview to the result. And you can undo that, and you can do again, edit and fill. And this time I'm going to go a different one. I'll go symmetry fill. Could use spiral. Spiral's pretty good as well. Symmetry fill. Great thing about symmetry fill is like 32 brilliant patterns in one. Well, some are good, some are not. And I'd love to see different ones included in that. Maybe have 150 patterns, I don't know. But sadly, it's only 30 odd. So you can change the transformation there. Move it along, the width and height. And you can create all kinds of different designs simply just by moving it along. Now I've reduced the randomization of the color. You can see, have it more or less, up to you. And you can keep varying the width and height settings, as well as the scale as well. And you can see the end result there. Sadly, it produces a little, right in the center, there's a little white dot, which you can always remove by a bit of careful editing. So you can create all kinds of pretty wonderful. Now I've gone back to the source design now, this design, because you can edit that source. You don't have to keep it like that. You can maybe create a duplication. You can turn it into a smart object. You can duplicate the design by holding down the Alt or Option key to create 2 copies. Maybe apply colors to it. So image menu and adjustments is a great one. Hue and saturation. So you can recolor it a bit. Resize it, apply warps, transformations via the edit menu and transform. Come up with a little dialog there, click OK. Change the size. I don't know why Photoshop loves bringing up dialogues, telling you things. I don't know why. I would say remove them, but they don't seem to do that. And also it says do not show again. Give it 10 efforts and it will appear again for some weird reason. I don't need to know that it will. Anyway, just remove that. But you can apply, like I said, filters and effects as well. That's another thing you can do. Maybe transform, like edit and transform. Again, another panel pops up. Very useful. And then you can distort it. Just create this lovely distorted design. So you can see now the colour applied as well. And I could, as I said, add filters to it as well. But you can always, with a smart object, you can always remove them. You can always get rid of them and change them, edit the settings. Now you've got that background removed as well. You can always go and define it. Edit menu and define pattern. So that can be used as a source now. So instead of a circular design, you can go there and you can go, of course, you could use all the other fill, edit and fill and select the one you just defined. But you don't have to use symmetry fill, but you could use random fill, brick fill, and they're pretty effective for that as well. You can use the script again with that on, and you can see the design there. And then what you can do, you can vary the width, so you can crunch them in a bit more, or you can make them expand out a little bit more. And you can change the scale. You can also change the color randomization. You may or may not wish to have that. Up to you. And you can always run the filter a couple of times. So you've got that design there. But you could run it 3, 4, 5 times, change the width and heights to create a much more complex, detailed design. And you could apply them to layers as well, and then blend those as another option. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Please subscribe to the Graphic Extras channel, always adding new tutorials all the time. A comment or two, always appreciated. Dislike or like. Thank you much.